Should we begin?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, give me a sec. I gotta pull up my log. Captain's log. Stardate 53816.0. The Kismet is currently at high warp, putting as much distance as we can between 3 Gedardix-class warbirds. We have a very important asset on board, an asset that the Romulans clearly want back. Senator Tevet of the Romulan Senate came to us incognito with information of destroyed Federation outposts. Outposts which the Federation reported were still functioning normally. However, as a show of good faith for his risky venture outside of Romulan space, we agreed to look into his claims. As we proceeded, his claims seemed true, as the outposts were indeed compromised. The first outpost was replaced with a relay of apparent Klingon make. Closer inspection revealed that only some parts were Klingon, while the power source was something unknown. Afterwards, we examined a manned station, which was completely abandoned. Lieutenant Commander Zoha discovered a device set in place that hijacked communications from this outpost back to Starfleet. Before we could arrive at the next location, we were waylaid by a distress call from a civilian freighter that had been attacked. Thanks to our engineers' good work and Penn's skillful flying, we arrived in time to save 3 of the crew members. All evidence at the time pointed to a Klingon attacker until I had a chance to talk to one of the civilians, who claimed that they had been attacked by Romulans before the doctor had to put him back under. It was then that I realized that this attack on a civilian craft was not only a distraction, but a complete misdirection. We weren't meant to save any of those crew members. We were meant to find them all dead with Klingon weapons stabbed in them. This led me to the conclusion that the other outposts were also the work of Romulans. Realizing the deception, we proceeded with haste to the final reported location. At our arrival at the third location, a classified Federation outpost, we were accosted by the aforementioned warbirds. Stuck in their tractor beams, were given an ultimatum by the Romulans: hand over the Senator, an apparent traitor to the Empire, or be destroyed. I managed to delay them long enough for Zoha and Penn to break us away from the tractor beams and get us to full warp. The warbirds didn't pursue, for what reason I have no idea. This leaves me with numerous questions. What was at that outpost? What were the Romulans' plans for these locations, and most of all, what was Senator Tevet's role in it all? All my readings indicate that he's interested in further relations with the powers beyond the Romulan Empire. Now, while that's certainly a controversial view among the Romulan Senate, traitorous? I'm not so sure. There's more to this, and it seems like in the wake of this attempt to take him by force, the Senator is ready to come clean. I'm about to meet with him now. End log.
All right, everyone get that, because that was a good synopsis of what happened last time.
All right.
So yeah, the Senator can be wherever you want him to be, Captain. And you could take a few moments to get people in places they need to be.
I think for the purposes of getting Varro involved in all this drama, I want to say, I'll have him have been sort of keeping a general eye on the Senator, and since it sounds like he really wasn't doing anything untoward last time, we can just say that's what Varro was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping an eye on the Senator.
We've been having a pleasant, if somewhat tense, conversation, let's say.
And so, the episode, I believe, ended last time with me going to the Senator and saying, I think it was something along the lines of, some people came for you, we need to talk.
I do believe that's how it ended as well.
So, I think I'd like to be with Varro, the Senator. Yeah, just Varro and the Senator in the conference room.
With the candlestick? All right, no,
that was my exact thought. That was my exact thought.
Worst. So,
you left it open, Captain.
Yep. So I like to think that Varro is probably standing, and the two of us are sitting at opposite ends of the conference table.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably how I want that set up. And I'll ask him. So, who's after you?
I have no idea who could possibly be after me, Captain.
No.
Come, Senator.
No. What?
You're a Romulan senator. Surely you've made some enemies to have reached so high.
That is true. Every senator has a reason to be looked at through the eyes of a very powerful lens.
Hey, Evans. But these Romulans, they specifically accused you of being a traitor to the Star Empire. You have no idea why they would make
I have no idea why any Romulan would accuse a senator of such treachery.
And yet, Senator, you are here and not on Romulus.
I had to see this evidence for myself of who might be behind these attacks.
I hope you understand, Senator, that you being here on this ship, given our recent confrontation with those warbirds, puts us and the Federation in a very delicate place diplomatically.
I do understand that, Captain.
The Admiralty at Under Station and apparently even Starfleet Command itself to sort this all out. I need to know what they want done.
Surely you must do what you feel is right.
It's all any of us can do, Senator. That's why you're here, after all.
But there is reason for me being here, Captain.
And that would...
I do suspect that an isolationist faction is starting to form on Romulus. And my suspicions were that the military is backing this faction. However, that is something I simply cannot prove, and it was my hope that coming out here and witnessing this, I could prove it.
An isolationist faction striking outwards against the Federation doesn't seem like a particularly on-brand modus operandi for such a group.
Captain, it can quite work to the advantage of isolationists to strike out. It causes others to sever ties with them.
Fair enough, Varro.
Those were my thoughts exactly, Commander.
Well, if there's nothing else that you have to tell us at this moment, I suppose we should send you back to your room. Again, if there's anything that comes to mind about the situation, who you think, any names that you might be willing to give us, that would be widely appreciated. Anything you need, you can tell to Varro and he'll make sure I hear it.
If there were names of people involved in this conspiracy, Captain, I would not be on this ship.
Of course.
But Romulus is in a state of, how do you say, unrest. A faction of the Romulan public seem to be trying to bring back the old policies of isolation.
The recent upsets after the end of the war have caused some strife back home.
You mean back to the policy before Kirk's encounter with the Romulans back over 100 years ago?
That have continued on until very recently, as your own Captain Burkard can attest to.
See.
But this unrest has become demonstrations, and a few small riots have broken out between this isolationist group and the people that are wishing to remain open.
To remain open or to maintain the status quo, Senator?
I have run on a position of opening the dialogue between our two peoples, Commander.
Good to know.
But that is not to say that being a senator with my views does not have certain risk to it.
Of course, that's how it is being a senator.
But I must say, Captain, the situation on Romulus is becoming tense. And I fear if steps are not taken to defuse this tension, that this may very well lead to a full-on Romulan civil war. The repercussions of which I can't even begin to imagine.
It would be felt both across the Alpha and Beta Quadrant. One of the galaxy's largest empires splitting right in two.
It would be worse than that, Captain. I won't go into details now, but it would be.
Understood. Is there anything else that I need to know before I reach out to Starfleet Command, Senator?
That is, unfortunately, all the information I know on this matter, Captain.
I see. Well, it's not much, but it's better than nothing. XO, if you'd please show the Senator back to his room. I have to make some calls.
Yes, sir.
Captain's gonna get up and walk out onto the bridge.
I have a door somewhere for that.
Yep.
There's my door swoosh.
Wish.
Oh man, I just realized I don't get any roll 20 sounds. That's sad.
Sucksores. So yeah. Would you rather do the thing with Varro, or would you rather have me going to get on the horn with the Admiralty?
Wherever you guys want to go from here.
I think Admiralty.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna go over to my console and try to open a line to Narendra Station.
To the Admiral Heppard, I assume?
Yeah. I honestly, right now, I can't think of anyone else.
Yep. Yeah. You are able to get through to the Admiral. She appears on your little view screen.
Oh, and by the by, I want to make sure that this is on an encrypted channel.
Yep. Yeah, I won't make you roll for it.
This is not something I want on open communications.
Yep, not a problem. Captain
I
Grennan.
think enough of that.
I wish I were calling with good news, Admiral, but we're currently dealing with a very sticky situation here, diplomatically speaking. On board, Roland Senator. Potentially a traitor to the Empire. We don't know.
A traitor to the Empire.
Indeed. He claims that there is a potential civil war brewing between two large factions within the Romulan Star Empire, and that, more or less, he's caught on the bad side of one of them.
Can that be confirmed, Captain?
Not as of yet. That's why I'm reaching out to you. As you can clearly see, this situation is delicate from every angle. Diplomatic, tactical. However you slice it. There's no easy answer without more information. And that's why I'm reaching out to you. I need more to go on.
What do you propose, Captain? Surely you must have a thought.
Well, I can give you what I have about the senator that we've picked up, and he taps on a data pad and he starts, sending over the file reference points to, so you can easily look it up. You can easily look at the files yourself. They're standard Starfleet issue. I want to know if there's anything not in the immediate records that I could be made aware of. But again, this is a very delicate situation, and I need to know Starfleet's stance on this. I don't want to make a decision and then have that decision inadvertently be against Starfleet's best wishes.
Understood. And she takes a pad and starts looking through the information you sent. Unfortunately, Captain, our intelligence on Romulus is lacking, for a better sense of the word.
Understood.
But clearly, you could understand that a destabilized Romulan government does not bode well for the peace and security of this region.
That's putting it lightly. But either way, I think as it stands, the best I can ask for you, Admiral, is the Admiralty's decision on this matter. We have this senator on board. I'm appending all my logs about all the ship logs over the past 10 hours. I just need to know what the Federation wants me to do, what position they want me to take.
Well, Captain, I think we need to gather more information before we could really decide a course of action on this.
Understood. In that case, I take it that I have your blessing to open an investigation into this matter on my own prerogative.
I would have it no other way, Captain.
Thank you, Admiral. Keep me appraised if there's any further developments.
We'll be in contact, Captain. Hebert out. And the screen goes black, and I believe your door chimes.
Yep. Enter.
Varro steps through.
Ah, XO, what can I do for you?
Sir, the door's closed behind me. I would like to corroborate the Senator's story if I can.
Really?
I would like to reach out to my remaining contacts on Romulus, see what they can tell us about the situation. Now, I can't assure you of when I'll get a response from them, but I can put out feelers.
Of course. XO, may I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
You're the last person I would expect to be sure of this senator's story. What makes you so confident?
Oh, I'm not sure of his story at all. I want to find another perspective on his story. However, from what I've read of him, he doesn't seem to be lying outright.
I got a similar impression.
Varro's eyebrow raises just a little bit, but he doesn't say anything.
When I met him 12 hours ago, I too got the impression that he wasn't telling me everything. However, that may have just been this civil war that he claims is brewing beneath the surface, or it could be something else.
Agreed, sir. And I want to know what that something else might be.
Yes.
I'll put out feelers related to the tensions on Romulus, as well as anything my contacts know about the Senator himself.
Very good. I've just heard word from the Admiralty. We have been given more or less full permission to open an investigation into this matter with Admiral Hebert's blessing. Of course, those orders could change on a dime, given orders from further up the command chain, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yes. And of the senator himself, what's your plan, Captain?
As things stand now, the senator hasn't given us any reason not to trust his word, or to trust that he doesn't know anything else about the matter. If we learn otherwise, we'll have another talk with him, but as things stand, he is currently a guest on our ship. A refugee, an asylum seeker, however you want to put it diplomatically.
And the Kismet, will she be continuing on her mission?
As it stands, yes. As things stand,
Very well.
we can't go back to that. We cannot go back to that third outpost. Not with 3 Daredek's warbirds in orbit. We don't have the firepower to take them on.
Agreed. It's a shame. Really. It's Romulans. This is all under his breath.
Very well. Reach out and see what you can find, Varro. Dismissed.
Yes, sir.
The captain gets up, walks over to his window, and he looks out at the passing stars.
I leave.
And you see them flashing by at the speed of warp.
So, I'm giving that as a cue for someone else to do something.
All right. I go down to my quarters.
Okay.
And I go through the normal procedure. Make my quarters into a black room.
Mm-hmm.
Pull up my console, and I enter in a message. I actually enter in 3 messages. I send off one message to a civilian contact on Romulus, asking what she knows about the senator and what the general atmosphere is like on Romulus currently. I send out a second message to a military contact that I have on Romulus, a lieutenant. I ask him the same 2 questions. And my third is the third one I'll get into a little bit more. Computer, on my authorization, wipe the last 2 messages from all ship databases after they've been transmitted. Computer, cease voice recognition until my input of the following characters into this console. And I input characters. And then I type out the following message. This is Varro. What's happening with the senator who's on this ship right now? And I send that off to my one remaining Section 31 contact. And then I enter the code sequence again onto my console. And the lights come up.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna send you back the info.
Ooh, buddy.
You could, however long you think all this to get back would take, but that's it. Let me know if there's questions.
Yeah, I know, right, Efrix?
All right. I head back up to the captain in, I think, about 7 hours' time, plot permitting.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Sounds about right.
Before you head back to the captain, does anybody else want to do anything during the 7 hours we're about to move?
Yeah, we do have about 7 hours. Just
Things
stuff.
take time.
So any free role play you guys would wish to do, I think now would probably be an excellent time to do it.
I think Evans and I had something.
That we do.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Yep. Go ahead and set it up for us, Doc.
Oh boy. So I mentioned before, Dr. Efforts is a bit of a workaholic, but she does have to leave the med bay at some point. So she'd probably go to one of the recreation rooms and have a whole stack of data pads just full of work. But she likes to be around people, so she doesn't want to be in a room. That's where you'll find her, Evans.
Okay, so Evans walks into the recreation room that you're in. And, kind of like stands around looking for you, then goes over and sits down at your table.
Lieutenant?
Hello, Doctor.
How was your shift?
Not terribly eventful.
That's good, I suppose.
Certainly good for the ship.
Yeah, bit boring for you, I would imagine.
What do you mean nothing happened? You dealt with Romulan warbirds.
I was not here for that.
It's true. None of us were here. We don't know. It was a very exciting day, but yeah.
You guys are going
Sure.
to give me
Right, so we're going to discuss your medical.
Could you repeat that?
We're going to discuss your medical training.
Yes, I was hoping to discuss that.
What is it you think that... Because I know you're quite well versed in a lot of field medicine. What is it that you think causes your anxiety about it?
That's something I've been trying to figure out, but I can't quite put a finger on what's giving me so much trouble.
Do you think it's something to do with the high stress situations?
I mean, that would make sense, except that I deal with high stress situations fairly frequently.
Yes, but there was something that you've trained for a long time for that you feel comfortable with. Perhaps you feel a bit less comfortable with operating a secondary set of skills in such a situation.
Suppose that could explain it. It could also be that it's tends to be a little easier to inflict harm than to repair it.
I typically has not been my experience, but I understand that many people feel that way. Perhaps we should go over the basics, see if there's anything that seems lacking and go from there. Or perhaps after gauging your ability, we'll simply test you under non-dire, but still equally stressful circumstances.
Sounds prudent.
Loud noises, lots of people, things that are mildly irritating, but not life or death.
That would seem to be a good strategy.
Train your brain to slow down when your heart rate's racing. Right. So,
Somewhat
shoulders seem to be a weak point for you, so why don't we study the bones in that area? And she pulls out a pad with just a whole list of bones, and then another one with just the vascular system, and another one with the muscular system, and dives in.
Oh, man. Well, if we're testing me, have been reviewing this lately.
I thought you might.
So I suppose I would start, like, I don't know, like, matching the names to locations?
Yeah, sure, why not? We can have worksheets like that.
Okay.
I think she specifically worked with you on setting bones before, so this is all review, but can't hurt.
I'm back.
And then I don't know if we want to do any more. We can probably call it there.
Yeah. Might be a good place to leave off.
All right, cool. Anyone else have anything they want to run?
I just wanted on the record that Zoha is having everyone doing an additional maintenance check.
How prudent of you.
Head, shoulders, broken bones.
Oh no.
Don't laugh, Captain. He might save your shoulder from dislocating.
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
By breaking it.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Efrix will fight you, Captain. She might win.
That is true. That is true.
There's no might.
Just throw a surgical tray at him. He'll dive into it.
Oh no.
Oh, that was perfect.
All right.
It was
All right, if there's
perfect string of insults.
if there's nothing else, we will go ahead and forward time 7 hours with Varro's thing.
Borrow's thing.
You hear a buzz at your door.
Enter.
Door swoosh.
Enter.
So I take it you have something for me?
I have something, Captain, but it's not much.
Well, something is more than we've had up till now.
I can corroborate that the situation on Romulus is very tense right now, and that the Senator is here. This is the Senator, as he has dropped off the radar of the military.
That is reassuring, I suppose.
However, the contact that I'd been hoping would yield more information failed to respond at all.
Is there anything I can help with on that front?
No, sir. But it suggests to me that, and Varro looks over his shoulder. It suggests to me that there is something big brewing beneath the general observable level.
And that's, in your opinion, as an intelligence operative.
That is, in my professional opinion, as an intelligence operative, Captain.
I see. Now, in your position as my advisor, what would you suggest?
For the safety of the Kismet, I'd suggest we get the Senator off of it. But I don't believe you'll agree to that. So I suggest that we maintain yellow alert when we're outside of Federation borders, have Evans possibly heighten security.
Agreed. See to it that he does.
And, Captain, I suggest that we all be on high alert.
Understood. Now,
Don't trust anyone.
not plan on it.
And Varro gives a little smile. Good.
Now, I'm probably going to reach out to the Admiralty again with what new information you've provided me. Again, little as it is, but hopefully the Admiralty might have a better answer for me now, and I'm also going to ask them about the situation at that outpost.
Yes.
After all, we might be able to get further support from the fleet in clearing that outpost out. Then we can go in.
Agreed, sir. Something doesn't add up, though. I'm not sure what yet.
Agreed.
I don't know if it's just the Senator's keeping something from us, or if this plot is bigger than he imagines.
Agreed.
But my instincts say that we're not going to like what we find.
Correct. Well, keep an ear out. Again, if anything new comes up, let me know. I'm going to reach out to the Admiralty again.
Very good, sir. I'll be on the holodeck if you need me.
Give those instructions to Evans, XO. Dismissed.
Thank you, sir. And I go to Evans on the bridge, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
I want your security teams to be on alert while we have the Senator on board. Is that understood?
Yes. We've just gotten a message for the Senator.
We have. From?
It's come from Romulus.
Interesting. Is it sealed?
I checked to see if it's sealed.
Difficulty 1 check to break any encryption.
It's encrypted, but I could look into breaking that if you'd like.
Varro, stand there for a second. No, forward it to the ambassador. In 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And inform the captain.
That I will do. Evans to Captain.
Captain here.
We've just
I take it you have received your instructions from Varro?
I have, but I've also received a message for the Senator.
Is Varro aware of this?
He has just been made aware.
I see. Well, what does the message say?
Well, it's encrypted and haven't yet decrypted it yet.
I see. Has Varro given you any instructions on the matter?
He instructed me to notify you.
I see. Well, would it be possible to view the message without tipping it off that it's been read?
Not typically, sir.
I see. In that case, XO, I'd prefer you to deliver the message in person and be there when it's unveiled.
Understood, sir. And I look to Evans and nod. Well then, Lieutenant, if you can get me that message on a pad.
Oh, that should be a rather simple task. Get that on a data tab for him.
Take it. And I head down to the ambassador's quarters.
Or Senate.
And then, Captain, I'm just going to send you something because you keep asking about it. And I think, let me know if that doesn't answer all the questions you have about the place.
Okay, yeah, that does answer the question, because I had an idea that was going to potentially allow us to go back there and search for more information. But if there isn't, then okay.
Okay, so I believe we are commander at Senator's door.
Indeed.
All right, he beckons you enter, and the doors open.
Senator.
Commander, what do I owe thee pleasure?
We've received a message from Romulus.
From Romulus, you say?
Yes. And I pull out the pad that I've been holding.
And he takes it. I see.
It's still encrypted.
And he taps a few codes into it, and it decrypts. He lowers the pad size a bit. I have been recalled to Romulus. There appears to be a special session of the Senate that has been called.
Ah. Intriguing.
Very much
Will
so.
you be leaving us then?
Well, seeing as though I don't exactly have a ship that can take me there, I think this is something I may have to beckon the captain on.
Indeed. Considering the state of our alliance, the Gizmet could be tasked with returning you to Romulus.
Well, Commander, I believe another chat with your captain is in order.
Agreed. And I tap my comm badge.
There is a chirp for this, hold on.
Captain here.
Varro to Captain Brennan.
Captain here.
The Senator would like to talk to you.
I see. I take it that the contents of message are relevant?
Somewhat.
I see. Very well. Bring him up.
Yes, sir. Well, Senator, it appears the captain's available.
Very good. I will follow your lead, Commander.
And I lead the Senator up to the bridge.
All right. We'll go ahead and head to ready room. Captain, are you in your ready room or conference room? Okay, we'll go ahead and open the doors then. In walked the senator, followed closely behind by Bavaro.
I gesture for the senator to sit.
Captain,
What can I do for you, Senator?
it appears that I received a message from Romulus of a somewhat urgent matter. It appears that the Senate is going to be holding a special session that is a mandatory conference by all senators. As captain, I clearly do not have the means to get back to Romulus. May I impose on your ship?
You want the Kismet to cross the neutral zone into Romulan space. Not only that, but go to Romulus itself?
That is correct, Captain.
Captain, I will remind you that with the senator on board and the treaty after the war, this is a legal action.
Understood. You're being called back for an emergency meeting of the Senate?
It appears every senator has been called back, Captain.
In that case, suppose I have another role to play.
Oh?
And the captain gets up and he says, I must play the role of the soothsayer. And he walks over to his shelf, pulls a book off the shelf, starts flipping through it, licks his thumb, flicks through it, physical paper book. And he starts to read. Who is it in the press that calls on me? I hear a tongue shriller than all the music. Cry, Caesar. Speak, Caesar is turned to hear. And the soothsayer says, beware the Ides of March.
You have me at a disadvantage, Captain. I am not versed in Earth literature.
And Captain closes the book and sets it down. Shakespeare. Julius Caesar. One of history's greatest rulers from Earth. He was called to a meeting of the Senate, and then he was betrayed. Cut down. Before then, he was told by a soothsayer to beware the Ides of March. And the Ides of March was the day that they cut him down. I'm saying that it's entirely possible that if you go to this emergency meeting of the Romulan Senate, you could be walking right into a dagger right at your back.
Unfortunately, Captain, I will not turn my back on Romulus if she needs me.
If that is your wish, I will honor it. But be aware, we're going to want to watch this carefully. You need to watch your back, Senator. Is there anything else that we can provide you?
I think for now, a transport to Romulus should be adequate. But I'm sure there is something that your security officers might be able to provide once we are there.
A security detail?
My thoughts exactly, Captain.
Understood. As long as you provide the authorization, so to speak, for Federation security officers to accompany you on Romulus, I believe I can accommodate you.
Being a senator does have its perks, Captain.
Indeed it does. And as I've been to Romulus before in a diplomatic, in a diplomatic word.
Fashion?
Capacity?
Yeah, diplomatic capacity, I would also like to join you.
Very well, Captain. Perhaps a fresh perspective on the events of my planet might be helpful.
Very well. In that case, I suppose you should go back to your quarters and start getting yourself ready. We have a lot to do. I have to, again, call the Admiralty and inform them of this change in course.
Very well, Captain. I will prepare myself for the next event.
I suppose, well, Varro said he's going to be right back, so I'm going to have Varro lead the senator back to the room.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he just had to go. So, in that case, I'd like to quickly call back the Admiralty.
Mm-hmm.
Get back on the horn with Hebert.
Yep, she's on the screen.
Admiral, the
Captain?
situation has slightly changed.
I take it you have some information then.
Not much, but interestingly enough, the information didn't come from our own internal and outreaching investigation, but the answer rather came to us. The Romulans have called an emergency meeting of the Senate. That on its own is a rather fascinating bit of intelligence information. But they're recalling the senator that we have. He is asked to provide him passage back to Romulus.
And I am assuming you have agreed to this course of action.
I have. It's all in service of this investigation as well, don't forget. If I have an excuse to bring the Kismet to Romulus, we might be able to find out what's going on right at the source.
Very good, Captain.
We might not get a better opportunity.
Very good, Captain. Continue your own discretion in this matter. Keep me informed.
Understood. Has anything changed on your end?
We are still looking into a few matters, but nothing concrete as of yet.
Understood. Again, reach out if anything changes. We will, however, enter a communications silence as soon as we cross the neutral zone.
Understood, Captain. Stay safe and Godspeed. And the screen goes black.
Captain salutes. The captain is going to walk out onto the bridge, and for all the people who, like, it's funny because people on the bridge aren't aware of this what's been going on. He's going to look at Penn, who says, Mr. Penn, plot a course for Romulus.
Sure, but I need to have a word with Zohar about that as well, Captain.
Of course. We're gonna proceed at Warp 7, and I want you to bring us down to Warp 3 when we approach the neutral zone.
Understood. I'll set in the course, then I'll head down to engineering.
Okay? So I guess Pend is going down to engineering.
Okay.
Walk up. Go on.
No, I'll do what I was going to say after you do yours.
I'll walk up to Zohar. I need a word in private.
I sort of stop whatever it is I'm doing and turn to look at you with a raised eyebrow. I mean, how private are we talking here?
The type of private where we're going to Romulus.
I raise my eyebrow even further and sort of motion towards what would fare for my office. I mean, it's not much. It's just kind of like a segmented off portion of main engineering, but it works. It's got a desk, it's got a chair, but it's not like a closed door level private.
So yeah, it seems like we're going to Romulus, even though we just had an encounter with 3 Dederics. So I want to know, how long can I push the engines past safety before it becomes a real issue?
Hold on, I heard you the first time, and you've just told me a second time, but I think I'm still not hearing properly. We're going to Romulus. Why?
The captain's not giving us all the details, but I can assume it has to do with the senator.
And the captain is fully aware the moment we cross the neutral zone that we will be waylaid by quite a number of Romulan craft, and he's okay with that.
Which is why I am asking you, how long and how hard can I push the engines if I need to make a get out of shit?
Well, I suppose worst case, if you need to push to warp 9.975, we can maybe hold that best case for 8 hours. But if any more than that, and we're talking burned down coils, we're talking blown out APS conduits, and really the best I can give you is warp 9.9 stable for a couple days. I mean, our cruising speed is warp 8 for a reason.
Well, the only problem I foresee is not outrunning the Derricks in open space. It's if we are at Romulus and everything goes to hell, I want to get out of Romulan space as soon and as fast as possible.
Well, I can do a few things. I can sort of set up a program to shunt power from non-essential systems the moment you need extra power, but I don't know that there's anything specific I can do to really give you what you're asking for. I mean, it's not like we have the access to QSD or to transwarp, so we're stuck with conventional warp methods.
I mean, if the best we can do is our fastest speed but for a longer period of time, then I'll take that. But again, if something goes to hell in orbit of Romulus, we need to get out of space as soon as possible.
Well, I'll take a look at the schematics, think about what I can do. My instinct tells me that if we use the secondary reactors, I might be able to buy you a little bit more time. But yeah, our hard cap is 9.975. Any more than that, and the ship will literally tear itself apart.
Well, see what you can do on that. I'll see what I can do with the console on the bridge to see if I can smoothen out the flight path, the maneuvers to try and take some of the strain off the ship.
That would be good, and I suppose I should look into increasing the structural integrity fields. Since you're the first one to tell me about what the hell's going on in, oh, I don't know, half a day, a full day, what is the whole thing with the ambassador at this point?
I've just caught you up with everything that I know.
So it's one of these missions where the command staff throw us into the fire and expect us to create miracles. Fun.
And I'm the one who causes trouble.
I wouldn't so much cause it trouble as creative interpretation of guidelines.
Yeah. You can see that Penn just looks tired. But yeah, let's just figure something out because like I said, I just don't want to be caught with my pants down. It's definitely not in Romulan space.
I share the sentiment. I will have everything triple checked before we even enter Romulan space. Because I want to make sure when you push that button, we go.
Well, thank you very much, and I will hopefully try and figure a way to make the journey smoother so we don't tear ourselves apart.
Of course. Oh, and one more thing, Pen. You look like shit. Have you gotten any rack time recently?
I have a unique way of rest and recuperation. Unfortunately, it's not a healthy way, so I'll deal with that when we get back to Federation space.
Well, I mean, it is going to take us, even at full warp, time to get to Romulus. Surely you could see the doctor, maybe? I mean, I would hate for you to have a sudden bout of necrolepsy, or was it narcolepsy, right when we need you the most.
Nah, don't worry. It's not a sleep tired. It's more of a mentally tired.
Well, if you like, we can maybe take a few hours out of our schedules and recuperate by planning on how to taunt the captain this week.
Well, generally, yes, I would be very entertained with the idea of annoying the captain. If I do get any downtime between all of this, it will be going back into a dangerous hologram that's trying to kill me. So, fun.
I sort of raise my eyebrow at that. Why are you running a program that's trying to kill you? I guess I don't understand.
Well, no, that's going to take too long to explain. Let's just focus on the engines.
All right, very well. I trust that you've got your crap together, and if not, I guess I get to say I told you so later on, and I give you a wink.
Have my crap together. I've never had my crap together, but sure.
And yeah, I start yelling at my staff to go check everything they just checked and do it again.
Then back to the bridge, trying to figure out different ways to maneuver the ship so I don't accidentally tear it apart when I'm running out of Romulan space.
All right, we ready to go to war?
Yeah, I did want to have a short conversation with the captain, though.
Of course.
If you could keep it like 2 minutes,
Oh yeah, short one.
because I do have 5 other scenes to get through.
Yep.
Holy, okay.
Yep. Hallway C.
Yeah. Well, actually, this would have been more like as you're leaving the bridge.
Yep.
So with going to Romulus, I do obviously have some concerns.
That's correct. We're going to be escorting the senator to a emergency meeting of the Romulan Senate. You're going to be joining Commander Varro and I on the planet's surface.
I see. I would like to see to looking into increasing scanner range, or for while we're traveling through Romulan space. And now I want to look into seeing if we can increase resolution, perhaps, to look for earlier warning signs for ships that we do know about.
Understood. See that it's done.
All right.
I have to prepare.
Oh, yes, I suppose you will.
And Captain's gonna walk in the ready room, and I think now is time for us to go to warp.
All right. All right, and I'm going to speed up plot time a little bit to throw you, I don't know, maybe half a light year from the Romulan border.
You mean like the neutral zone or the?
Yeah.
Okay. And actually, yeah, this is when I specifically instructed slow us down to warp 3.
Okay.
So that works.
Yep.
Really works.
Evan, since you talked about scanning stuff, go ahead and give me an insight security difficulty 2 check.
By the ship.
We don't have any momentum, do we?
You do not.
Because we haven't made any rolls yet.
But is the ship going to assist?
It will be sensors engineer, or sorry, sensors security.
Difficulty?
Right.
And with sensors, the difficulty goes down by 1, right?
Yep.
So what's the difficulty?
So it'd be 1.
Okay.
So someone gonna roll.
And are tactical systems applicable here for my focuses?
No.
Okay.
Who's gonna roll the ship?
I think you just volunteered, Captain.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, you guys do get a momentum. Where are you, Evans?
Oh, we all know the real reason that Ed wanted us all here tonight. He now has max threat.
To be fair, I'd probably could be giving him more threat throughout this session somewhere.
Who has the bridge?
I'm gonna assume everybody's in their post at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you
I'm
calling
detecting
me up
2
or am I
chronotron
saying-
signatures.
What?
I'm detecting 2 chronotron signatures.
Chronotons.
I think that's what I meant.
You didn't mean tachyons?
Could be tachyons.
Are there ships?
Is it the
If
one
there are
that's-
Romulan ships, it's tachyons.
That's what I meant.
I was gonna
Okay,
say,
2
chronotons-
tachyon signatures then.
Chronotons are the time travel. Chronotons are the time travel particle.
Yeah, tachyons then.
Okay.
Because I was going to say.
Yeah.
Ed finally doing time travel plus?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is gonna be a very different episode than what I was anticipating.
Tachyons.
Okay.
Recommend we go to Yellow Alert, Captain.
Agreed. Oh, well, I'd assumed that we had been put on yellow alert, but okay. Yellow alert.
All right.
Ship. Like, I mean, we're picking up the tachyon signatures, but are we picking up any actual ships? Uh-oh.
No, just the tachyon signatures. For now.
I don't like the looks of that.
I don't like the looks of that.
We said shields were up.
Captain, recommend we drop out of warp.
And both ships decloak as a disruptor blast hits your ship.
Well, that's just plain dirty.
Wait a second, are they on our side of the neutral zone?
Yeah, we have not entered it yet.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me. It said inside Federation space.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Minus 7, so be at 8.
Ed, is that clarification that this is on our side of the neutral zone?
Evans, I believe you have that information.
Yes, it is. We are still within Federation space.
And you will take a breach to the sensors and 8 damage.
Ooh, boy,
Ow. Yeah. Red alert. Shields up.
2, 3, 4.
Shields at 40%.
9.
thing. Get us to warp, Mr. Pend.
Yes, Captain.
Which direction?
Well, he wants to go to Romulus.
Yeah, actually. Plow us straight through.
Then I would like to go at maximum warp.
Captain, recommend we get the senator on the bridge.
Agreed. And he taps his comm badge. Captain Grennan to Senator, you're needed on the bridge.
On my way, Captain. All right, Pend, I believe this is going to be probably a difficulty 0 task for you. Get back in the warp.
I'd still...
And you have to let me know how much power you spend.
How much power do we want to spend, Captain?
We're at 15. How's 7 sound? What do you guys think?
I think that doesn't really leave us much room for we're inside. But aside from that,
I think we should spend at least 8.
Okay. What do you think, ELH? You're the one who's the power guru.
So it depends on which way we're going. If we're going towards Romulus, you need to spend as much power as possible. Because Derrick's, if I recall correctly, can go warp 9, but by spending 10 power, even though we're not going warp 10, they won't be able to catch us. Of course, if you do go towards Romulus, then I have some scenes that Zoha's going to start questioning some certain things, because this seems like a very bad idea.
Actually, so what I want us to do is, I'm going to spend 8 power. I want us to run parallel to the neutral zone.
Okay. I'm going to spend a threat just to make sure and to gain some momentum.
Okay.
Of course. So you should roll the ship for this because it's engines.
I'll reroll that 0.
Or complication, more specifically. Either way, it's.
Yeah, so it's 3 momentum plus whatever the ship rolls.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the ship rolling?
Engines con.
Okay. Get one more.
Cool. You guys are up to 5. And you guys enter warp. If I can find my bloody warp. And you guys said you spent 8?
Yep.
One ship is in pursuit and is gaining on you.
Okay. Mr. Evans, take out their engine.
Belay that. Captain, we need to get the Senator's direct authorization codes broadcasting to that warbird as soon as possible.
Agreed. In that case, yes, belay that order. Has the Senator gotten up to the bridge?
Yep. Yeah. Probably just as you went to warp.
Senator, we're being chased by a Daenerys warbird. We need you to get your authorization to it as soon as possible. And he motions to the ops panel.
And he goes over and enters his codes.
What? Okay.
6, 7, 9.
Now he rolls the zeros.
So you'll take 3 more damage to your
Shields.
Oh my.
And this was after he had put the codes and it sent.
Okay, yeah, no, they want us dead.
All right, Captain.
We have almost no shields left.
Yep. We gotta take out their engine.
Mr. Evans, you have permission to return fire.
Will do.
Spend some of that momentum we got.
Yeah, I'm thinking about spending somewhere between 1 and 3.
Yeah. And we also have, because we haven't been doing it up until now, we gotta remember to call the right thing with the,
Yes.
with the...
Because it's area, right? To do a lot of damage to one ship?
Yep.
And then spread as multiple ships?
Right.
Okay. So do we want me spending 3? Because I feel like we kind of need to make this shot.
Yep. And don't forget, it doesn't cost any more to aim at their engines. Because I assume we're still at warp?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm aiming at engines, trying to take specifically those out. And then... spread.
No,
I think,
area,
right?
which one
Area.
It's whichever one is better
For
a
one ship.
For one ship, it's spread. If you're trying to hit both, it's area.
Well, we only
Okay.
have one ship on our tail, so
Yeah,
spread.
spread. Rolling 4 dice with focus.
Hey.
Yeah, that hits.
Yep.
And was
Yeah,
it,
can we get the ship now?
was it medium range?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, we're at least getting 2 of that back.
Can someone roll Kismet?
Oh,
What is Kismet rolling? I have the sheet up. That would be,
security.
Okay.
Yeah, I can only really manage one sheet tonight because Chromebook has tiny screen.
Alright, Starship Task Roll.
Oh, ELH got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So you guys are back up to 5. Starship damage, please.
Yeah, roll them phasers.
See, phaser rate.
I say we spend both of the versatile on piercing. Then and we spend 1 more momentum on piercing, so now it'd be at 0 resistance. Which means it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to give ourselves vicious for that? I would take it to 10.
I forget if we can do that.
And what benefit exactly does area give us?
You
Or
mean
spread? I
spread.
think it was. Yeah, spread.
It
that one.
does half as much damage as the initial hit.
So,
Okay.
So it'd do 3 to a random system.
Yep.
Which would essentially be soaked in the shields.
So we'd essentially be dealing 9 damage overall. Do you guys want to spend any more momentum for any more damage, or should we just let this be what it is?
I mean,
We're
if
at 9 damage?
Huh?
We're at 9?
Yeah, we're at 9.
if you can get it up to 10, you might as well.
Because then we might roll engines again and get...
Ooh.
Okay, yeah. So fine, we'll spend 2 more momentum.
We only need to spend 1 for bonus damage.
Do we?
It's 1 per.
Yeah, and we're only upping it by 1. Right? Or no?
I think we have
Do we
to
have
do
to
it
up by 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So, that's okay. So, that's 10 damage.
Okay.
So, definitely a breach to its engine.
Yep.
And did that take out its shields or no?
No, but the ship does drop out of warp.
Right? Awesome. Right.
Oh, would you look at that? It looks like something's wrong with their engine.
Nice shot, Mr. Evans.
Thank you.
Yes, good work.
And you guys are still in warp.
Seems like whoever's on the opposite side of this thing wants to keep you from getting to Romulus, Senator.
Would appear that way, Captain. I hope that is not the case, however.
And we have no choice. We have to get to the bottom of this one way or the other. Agreed, XO?
Agreed, sir.
Captain taps his comm badge. Captain to Zoha?
This is engineering. Go ahead. Why are things shaking on my ship?
As you may be aware, we're about to cross into Romulan space. As we were about to cross the neutral zone, we were attacked by a couple of warbirds. It seems that someone wants to prevent the Senator from getting back to Romulus.
Sir, perhaps it would be best if we had a senior staff meeting. I don't feel comfortable voicing my opinion on this matter over open comms.
As much as I'd love to, now that we've been attacked, we don't have that benefit. We have to be on guard. We don't have time for meetings.
Well then, sir, consider this my official objection with your course of action. I believe you're endangering the ship for what is clearly a trap, and I want that objection noted for the log.
Noted, Zoha. Understand that we do have the backing of Starfleet Admiralty on this matter.
Very well. That's all well and good, Captain, but the fact that Romulans are attacking us on our side of the border and Starfleet, to my knowledge, isn't doing anything about it, kind of tells me what we're going to be facing the more we get into their space.
Understood. Understood. Your objection is noted, Zoha. Either way, you need to start making repairs.
Already on it.
Good. Captain out.
Captain, before we cross the neutral zone, permission to send a message to Starfleet informing them of Romulan aggression on this side of the zone.
Understood. I'll take care of it. And the captain's gonna go to his ready room. He's gonna reach out to Starfleet Command about this.
Okay. Do you want the conversation or just the response?
Yeah, just give me the response, because I know you have a bunch of stuff you gotta...
Cool. There we go.
Ships from our side?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Captain's gonna walk back out onto the bridge. He's going to turn to Pend and he says, Pend, blouse a course towards Romulus. It looks like Starfleet has our backs on this one. They should be able to hold off any other attackers.
Yes, Captain.
Mr. Evans, I want you to get the sensors back up and running. I'll be back shortly. I need to go and have a word with our engineer.
All right.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and throw you guys in warp so we can get that going.
I thought we were already at warp.
The change of direction.
So, Captain's gonna go down to, engineering. Hello, Lieutenant Commander. How are repairs coming along?
Well, we're lucky. The most of the damage was to the shields. Sensors are back up, but of course we now have damage we can't really repair on our own out here.
Understood. Well, I have good news for you, Zoha. I just got off the horn with Starfleet Command. We have at least a half dozen ships inbound for the border, covering our entrance.
That's all well and good, sir, but they're not going to help us not get blown to pieces to get to Romulus.
I understand your... Oh, hang on a second. Oh, that's better. Huh, one of my cables was pulled. Anywho.
Sir, when did you turn into an android? Why are you talking about wires being pulled?
No, one of the wires in my audio setup.
Ah.
One of the wires in my audio setup was kind of pulled out. Anyway, and, the captain's gonna sort of motion for Zoha to come off to the side.
I just point to my office. It's getting a lot of use today.
Right. Zoha, I need you to understand that this isn't something that I'm doing because I want to do it.
You also have to keep in mind, sir, that no one has told engineering anything. We are literally playing... Well, I take that back. Pend did tell me that we were considering a run on Romulus, and that the ambassador was somehow involved, but, I mean, they're Romulans, sir. It's a triple play, or it's a trap.
I'm aware. I'm aware it could be a trap. One probably intended for the Senator.
Or have you considered it's a trap for Starfleet? By going to Romulus, we are violating Romulan sovereign territory, and they will have every excuse to use our incursion to start conflict along the border, or possibly outright declare war.
Well, as long as we have the Senator aboard, that is a card in our back pocket.
I think you are overestimating the power of one senator, sir. And I apologize if this seems too blunt, but everything that I've experienced and seen so far tells me that the moment this man gets to Romulus, even if we beam him down, he will be shot before he gets to whatever important meeting it is that he's being requested for. We are essentially delivering this man to his death.
But what if we keep him here? Then what?
Then we have a Romulan requesting asylum, and we don't start open conflict with the Romulans again. I think that's a fair trade.
However, it could also be a play in the other direction. The Romulans could interpret it as us holding one of their senators captive.
Last I checked, he came to us.
Oh, but you know how they love to spin things.
Well, let me reiterate it. They will definitely spin us violating the neutral zone and going to Romulus as an act of war. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I see no other way forward. Again, we've been given instructions to learn what's going on Romulus. I can think of no better way.
Well, sir, that's why you're the captain and I'm just the chief engineer. Of course, I will follow your orders, but again, for the record, I feel that this is a foolhardy and otherwise rash course of action.
Agreed. And honestly, I would probably share your opinions if I hadn't been to Romulus myself over a month ago.
Well, I can promise you'll at least have sensor functionality before we get to another battle, but as I said, it's not something I can truly repair all well and done out here in space. we're looking at least a week's worth of work at best case scenario.
Right.
But you will at least have functionality when you need it.
But, well, in terms of sensors, it's only going to do us so much good with Romulan cloaks anyway.
Well, just remember, sir, we rely on sensors quite a bit for navigation, for scanning things, for transporters, for weapons.
Oh, of
Even
course.
we use
Oh, of
sensors
course.
quite a bit.
Yes. Yes, we do. But as you said, you've managed to restore basic functionality. The functionality we need. I don't think
Right.
we're going to be taking a close look at any black holes soon.
Now, you say that.
Yeah, I know. Probably just tempting fate. But that's what we do on the Kismet. And the captain's going to walk out of the office.
Yeah, I start yelling at everyone to go fix things again.
Of course.
Maintenance.
So, I assume are we going to cross the neutral zone with no trouble?
I will say we are passively broadcasting our diplomatic reason for being here.
Along with the senator's authorization.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that I've had the senator equip the Kismet with the proper message for crossing the zone.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to the next scene. So you guys will drop down a momentum. I have you at 2. I don't know what you guys got yourselves at, but I got you at 2.
Yeah, that's right.
So all your shields heal up all nice and pretty and full.
Full power.
Power goes back to normal, and your injuries, breaches, blah blah blah, repair. And you guys will arrive incident free at Romulus.
Hold you.
And full power, you say?
Full power, correct.
Okay.
The captain's going to look out on look out at Romulus on the view screen. Says, "Oh, I didn't think I'd be back here again so soon."
It is quite a sight, isn't it, Captain?
Indeed. Evans, any message from the planet's surface?
They
Not
just
quite yet.
They just give you coordinates for the beam down for the, like for the senator, the coordinates, blah blah blah. Which he looks at, and it's the standard beam down coordinates.
Duke. In that case, Evans, Varro, Senator. I say we get going.
Okay. Anything we would like to happen on the ship before we go down the Romulus?
I would like to ask, are we checking out the area before we beam them down, or are we just beaming them straight down?
Yeah.
Along with us.
Yeah, give me what is the area that we're beaming down in?
It's just outside the Senate building.
Okay. Life signs?
In the immediate area, about 100.
I mean, that's about right for the Romulan Senate. Okay. And thinking if there's anything else. I mean, I get that it's Romulus, so there's probably a ton, but how are we looking for ship traffic?
Surprisingly light.
For what we know.
Surprisingly cloaked is more like it.
Of course. Well, we should probably also bring down some security personnel. Not much, just maybe another person or two. I.e., people who haven't been able to play today. So probably, actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring down Dr. Efrix.
Okay.
It's nice knowing you, Doctor.
Wait, what about me?
Evan's coming with.
Evans, you've already been called.
What I meant about Penn's comment.
Oh. He has more faith. He has more faith in you than me.
Well,
It's fine.
well, Penn has to be ready to punch it if things go south.
When?
But I will give Penn. I do want to give Penn some instructions. Should things go south and I give a signal from the ground, you are to take the Kismet and leave.
I mean, I've always wanted a commission myself, so that's not a problem.
But am I understood?
I will leave when I am sure there is no option to get you up.
Or when I give you the order, Lieutenant.
Sure, let's go with that.
Good man. And the captain's gonna, give him a slap on the shoulder and walk with Evans towards the turbo lift with the Senator and Varro.
My seat now.
I'll
Okay.
meet you guys there.
All right, everyone's in the transporter room.
Alright. Head down. Energize.
Yay. So you guys beam down to the location that's outside of the Senate building, and as soon as you beam down, you are immediately hit with a loud demonstration that appears to be between two sides. There is a lot of yelling, a lot of name pointing, a lot of name calling. It's getting very heated.
I instantly pull out my tricorder, press passive record, and then put it back.
Okay. As you can see, Captain, this has become the state of our once great planet.
It's a shame.
I close my eyes and open up my mental senses to the area around me. Trying to do two things.
Oh, whoa, shit.
What?
And you guys start hearing gunfire from the crowd. And as you look around, one side, there seems to be gunfire coming from everywhere, but you can't seem to locate where it's coming from. And as you guys sit there and watch, multiple civilians start hitting the ground wounded. Some have been killed instantly, others have received serious wounds. But the fire is still going on.
I'd like to see if I can pinpoint this.
I'd like to
Where it's
get
coming
the
from?
senator down so he's not a target.
Okay.
Are we in the center of all this, or is there any way I could position myself in between somebody and the crowds?
If you were your beam in sight, if the building is in front of you, like maybe I don't know, 50 or so yards between you and the building, is this large demonstration of maybe about 100 people or so. And that's where all the firing is going into.
Can I try and determine where the fire is coming from?
Give me insight security, and I'll make this a difficulty 4 check.
Difficulty
take a
4.
momentum.
How much momentum do we have?
2.
Only 2, so you can really only buy the 1. And I think we need to keep that.
Let's see.
And I don't think this is something you want to blow your determination on.
No. Strategy and tactics is a focus here.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. I also have other things that could be used, so.
I don't know if that's a handheld disruptor or if that's the shipborne disruptor.
It's the only one I could find on Trek Core.
Yep.
Wait, I forgot to select. Oh,
It's
on.
terrifying.
It is incredibly loud.
It is.
Nope.
Yeah, and you don't have cautious security, do ya?
No, I don't have any cautious.
And as far as you could tell, like there's fire basically coming from every direction.
Okay.
And at this point, the crowds do start to scatter and run off in different directions, and the fire does eventually calm down. And all that is left are the wounded or the dead.
Evans, Varro, you have to get the senator into the Senate. Dr. Efrix, we need to see what we can do for the people here.
Aye, sir.
Senator, with me.
And he nods and follows you.
And I lead him by the safest route I can see to an entrance to the Senate.
Okay. You guys go off. Doctor, what would you like to do?
I guess I want to wade into the crowd. See what I can see as far as injured versus dead.
All right. So as you just kind of look through, do a quick scans, there's probably about 5 people that have been killed, and you figure about a dozen or so have injuries that you estimate with some work you could probably stabilize.
Start in on the most severely injured.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and give you a medical task. It's going to be an extended task. I do have to adjust stuff.
Boy, oh boy, but that daring comes into play.
All right, so this is going to be a difficulty 3 task.
Okay.
Magnitude 2. Work is going to be 15. Right? Oh, no. So, okay, so hold on. It's going to be difficulty 3, magnitude 4, work track 15, complication range 2, resistance 1. Controller daring with medicine.
Okay, I'm definitely picking control because that's better. Medicine. Emergency medicine count?
Yep.
Cautious.
Yeah. Everybody cool with that?
Mm-hmm. What was the difficulty in the first check again?
3.
3. Okay. I'm just posting those things in.
Can I give an assist? Because I'm there.
Yeah.
Captain, put pressure on that.
Okay. Okay. Doing.
No, not there. There.
All right, Doc, go ahead and roll me 7 challenge dice. Don't forget to hit enter. 5. So you will do 4 work currently. 4 out of 15.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Doc, you might have to burn your determination here. On your next roll.
I mean,
because we don't have any more momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I only have to roll under a 15. It's me, so you know.
Well, but it's still a difficulty 3 check.
Oh, I know. There's a chance I could get a 2 and a 1, but I don't have reroll.
So if I remember correctly, I believe you could use is it 2 momentum or 1 momentum to reroll?
Just 1.
We don't have any though.
We don't have any.
I have you at 1.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
used it.
I know. I had you at 2 before this roll.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
Then
I thought we had used one of
fine.
those.
Then take one and re-roll.
Okay.
So you would probably just re-roll the 3 that you missed.
Roll 3 challenge dice. Get 2.
There we go.
Damn.
That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you're at 10 work then.
Yeah. I'll get.
So that is a breakthrough,
Yep.
which decreases the difficulty.
Fudge.
No, don't use your determination on this roll.
I didn't.
Nope, that was a roll for the next one. So Captain, go ahead and roll your assist.
Fudge.
She still technically get it, so go ahead and roll 7 challenge dice.
Yeah, I wasn't actually trying to hit the button. I was just trying to get something unselected before.
A hit's a hit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Minus 1 is 7. So that's 2. That's 2 more breakthroughs. So it's a difficulty 0 check here.
Okay.
Honestly, I wouldn't even make. Oh, actually, no. Do make the roll. Generate some momentum. I'm not going to assist this time.
I mean,
though.
maybe. Sure about that?
All right, so you get your momentum.
Yeah.
So as you're working on one of the patients, they start to destabilize.
Shock.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect terminology. They go into shock. They will require a daring and medicine of difficulty 4 in
Okay.
order to restabilize the one patient.
Determination now.
Yeah, I guess so. Do all the good you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I unfortunately cannot. I unfortunately can't give you enough momentum to help.
Yep. Pray for me, guys.
You
Hey, nope.
you could have also
It's a
spent
4.
momentum and threat if you were desperate for more dice and a reroll.
No,
No, it's 5 successes because you burned your determination there.
Oh, right.
So I got you guys back to 2. The patient has been stabilized, and all the other ones are at least stabilized enough to be moved to a medical facility. Good job, doctor.
Great work there, doctor.
Good to finally work on people that cooperate.
Yeah. Well, I think you've done all the good you can here. Let's move on. I think Evans and Varro are going to need us in the Senate.
If we can get in.
And after a few moments, you all are inside the senator's office. As you guys enter, the senator is just shaking his head. The Romulans used to be a proud people. Now look at us, killing each other in the streets of our own planet. How the mighty have fallen.
Right out front the Senate.
Indeed.
Now that we're here, do you have any information as to what this emergency meeting is about?
I'm going to assume that it is about what we just witnessed. But I won't know until we're actually inside the Senate chambers, but it's still not scheduled to start for a few hours.
I see. Well, in that case, we have to keep you safe until then.
Yes.
And the senator sits down behind his desk and starts typing away at one of his councils.
Can I step off?
Yes, Evan, Dr. Efric, please keep the senator company.
Of course.
Yes.
I'll check in with the Kismet. I expect you want to stay down here.
Indeed. This is a delicate diplomatic situation. I might be able to render assistance.
Understood, sir. Borrow to Kismet.
Kismet?
We have gotten the senators safely into the Romulan senatorial complex, and we will be waiting until at least the Senate comes into session in a few hours. Let us know if you have any trouble up there.
Do you need any more assistance down there?
That's a negative, Lieutenant.
Understood?
And then I turn back to the captain and I say, Captain, if you don't need me anymore here, request permission to beam back up to the Kismet.
As much as I'd love to give you that option, no, I think I need you down here. As
Very well,
we all
sir.
know, there are forces that are conspiring against the Senator's life. I can't think of anyone better to run counterintelligence to those attempts than you.
Yes, sir. I'll do what I can. However, I've entered this situation with very little prior knowledge.
Well, that's
Going
never
in blind is never it's never the most effective.
Agreed, but it's what we have, and honestly, Varro, I think we've worked with less.
Quite possibly, sir.
But, see.
Okay, so the question is, what are you guys doing while you're on Romulus?
It's a good question.
Or in orbit?
Oh, in orbit, I'll still be trying to figure out ways to better stabilize the ship through an extremely high or extremely fast warp jump.
So, this room we have the sender in, does it have windows?
Yeah, I mean it is an office.
I suspect if I examine the windows closely, however, they'll be holograms.
Or are they actual windows?
Let me decide. Holograms.
Whew. Okay.
Okay. How tough are these holographic windows?
Meaning that they're probably inside the complex.
Yeah. There's stone. These holograms are for show. Well, stone or metal or whatever.
Now, Senator, I hope you don't mind, but since it seems that you've been away from your office for a period and we don't exactly know who we can trust, would you mind if my security officers gave a look over to your office?
I would expect nothing less than from Starfleet intelligence officers. Or security, sorry, misspoke.
Well, Evans,
Good, because
Yeah,
that was gonna get awkward fast.
Yeah, I know. I misspoke. I misspoke. He meant security.
Good. Okay.
Evans, see what you can turn up. Although Varro
Alright.
might be for it, because it sounds like this is probably going to be an inside security role.
Probably.
Surprisingly, you guys find nothing out of the ordinary.
Intriguing. All right. I go to examine the hologram projectors that are up on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure they don't have the capacity to generate anything more substantial than what they're currently doing.
Yep, they seem basic.
All right.
So after a few more moments,
I do have a question for the senator.
okay.
I forget his name, but I want to ask him if he's familiar with that admiral that Starix and I dealt with the last time we were on Romulus.
I don't know who you are referring to, Captain.
I see. It's nothing. The last time I was here, I had diplomatic dealings with this admiral.
But it does raise an interesting question, though, Captain. How did a civilian populace get weapons in the first place?
You think someone from the Romulan military is supplying them?
That would be my assumption, because the civilian populace do not have weapons on Romulus. For obvious reasons.
Indeed.
Now, you're a extremely public figure, Senator, but would you happen to be able to provide some basic clothing?
I'm sure I have something around here that might suit you. And he goes to one of his cupboards and pulls out and opens up like a small wardrobe.
XO, how'd you feel about going out on a short fact-finding mission?
Pleasure, sir.
It'll be just like old times. No, yeah, no, Evans. What I was referring to was the last time I was at Romulus, because I've been here before during the whole Orion fiasco. And Starix and I dealt with a...
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna stay with the doctor and Evans, keeping an eye on the senator, making sure nothing happens, high alert.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, I'm gonna have Varro go off on a short little fact-finding mission in Hoganito.
Sure. We will stick with Varro then. I'll let Varro take the lead.
All right. Oh boy.
And this will
That would be
enter a new
interesting.
scene, so we'll go ahead and drop you guys down the one moment.
Got it. All right. Captain, what specific information would you like?
I want to know if you can find out perhaps where the weapons that these two sides are getting are coming from, what the fighting is, who is the leadership in these groups, just anything you can find. As I've said, this is where we're going to learn all the information we can.
Yes, sir. And is there a time you want me back here?
I'd like you back here, say, 30 minutes before the session is set to open. I know that doesn't give you a lot of time to make your inquiries, but I'd rather have you with us on the Senate floor than out there.
Yes, sir. All right. Then, first thing I do is head out to where the injured may or may not still be. I want to see, one, if they're still there.
So not too much time has passed since you guys got into the building. You know, maybe 20 minutes or so. Probably the medical staffs are probably starting to really secure the patients, get them on stretchers, get them moved.
All right. I walk up at a brisk pace. Is there anything I can do to help here?
No, we have the situation under control.
Very good. Where are these people being taken?
They're being taken to the local hospital.
All right. I will want to speak with some of them when they regain consciousness.
If you feel that wise.
And at this point, I am maintaining the conversation as a charade for reaching out and gleaning what I can from the minds around me.
Most of the thoughts are about medical situations, mostly about like injuries and stuff like that. Roll me insight security. I think that's what we were talking about with this test. Yeah, difficulty 2.
All right. Are you guys okay if I spend a momentum here?
Go for it.
Cool.
And you get it back.
All right.
All right. I'm going to type this out to you.
No penned.
You're not there.
All right. I note that down. And the medical workers, what's their feeling toward these people?
Just as you'd expect any medical professional to be, help the wounded.
All right. Then I start walking towards the edge of town.
Okay. So I don't know. After a very brisk walk, you get to the edge of town. Probably, it takes a while to get there. It's a very large town. But there's a small wooded area toward the edge of town that you eventually walk into.
All right. Just something to note, because I did make note of it before, but I want to reestablish it now. I have my tricorder on me, and it is passively recording.
Okay.
It has been since we beamed down.
Yep.
So I walk into the wooded area as non-threateningly as I can.
Okay. After another brisk walk, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, you eventually stumble upon a type of camp. And inside this camp, you find basic shelters and campfires, that have foodstuffs and cooking utensils strewn all around them. And you are able to make out a larger makeshift building toward the center of this camp. Inside this camp, you see 3 Romulans in civilian attire. 2 of these Romulans seem to be like on a guard patrol, individually, but they're like walking the perimeter, so to speak. And one of them is around the fire in the middle. He seems to be cooking something.
I look to see any signs of a dampening field or jammer technology that's out in the open.
You don't see anything like that.
All right. I walk towards one of the guards that I can see.
Just walk up to him.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he notices you, he turns and opens fire at you.
All right.
Yep.
Do I need to adjust these guns? I don't think so. Really? I just gotta check one stat in this weapon because it seems a bit high.
Varro is vaporized.
No, it's actually that. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, he kind of is. That is 5.
Well,
He's at least taking 5.
well, Varro, you can spend your determination
I have to.
and re-roll your veteran.
Mm-hmm.
She got it back.
Okay. So I have my determination. I also have 5 stress.
Yep.
Give him the beat down.
I say, hold. I mean you no harm here.
And hearing that, the other 2 start rushing over with their weapons drawn.
I'm kind of like down on one knee with a hand raised up as like a hold sign.
Mm-hmm.
And as they rush up, I am getting a mental read on them. Or I'm trying.
Roll me Insight Security, difficulty 3.
Take that momentum. Nah.
Yep.
Wow.
We're at 2 momentum now. Oh wow, those are just straight up 1s.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is helpful to you.
All right. I look up and I say, I'm not who I appear to be. I'd like to help.
That does give them pause. And they are kind of standing in a semi-close group.
Can I speak to a representative of this group? I don't need to see a face.
And again, they're all just kind of looking at each other.
What I've deduced to be your people were fired on near the Romulan Senate around an hour ago.
I think, stranger, you have wandered into the wrong camp. And he raises his weapon again. I'm going to spend a threat here.
Stop rolling. You could spend your determination again, although it probably doesn't matter.
Not a rules lawyer, but I'm pretty sure you can only do that once per scene.
So you
Yep.
can.
Yeah, because he still has the injury, so this will be his second non-lethal.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, it is now lethal.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
The second non-lethal becomes a lethal injury
so
if not treated.
And
Yep.
not to keep harping on this, how much stress do you have?
How much stress total? Or
Yeah.
how much stress have I taken? Total, let's see. 12.
Okay. Then,
This'll do.
because if you had taken 2 more points of damage, you would be dead, period.
Mm-hmm. As it stands, you are on the ground in a great deal of pain.
Yeah. I put my hands kind of behind my head. And I say, I have no desire to be shot here. I came to Romulus looking for answers.
Unfortunately, you will not find any in this camp.
What would I find in this camp?
Oh,
Well, he's dead.
He's dead. He's vaporized.
Question, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Considering I'm on the ship, would we be able to realise that one of our life signs had just blipped out?
Give me reason medicine.
Doesn't matter. I mean, he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know he's dead, but would the ship know that he's dead?
I mean, probably somebody would because they were tracking life signs. So I would imagine someone would have reported, we lost a life sign on the away team.
Then I will comes down to the surface. Captain, are you there?
Captain here.
Who's with you right now?
That'd be Evans and Dr. Efrix. Why?
We've just lost one of the life signs for the away team.
What?
If Varel's not with you, he's dead.
Do you have his last location?
I would assume we have that, considering we've been tracking them.
Probably, but
Well, like
at
a
this
general,
moment in
like,
time-
yeah.
At this moment in time, we're actually going to shoot to the next scene. And inside the, as you guys are talking, you start hearing gunfire within the Senate building.
Within the Senate building?
Within the Senate building, and it is getting closer.
Get behind your desk, Senator. Get down.
Captain, what's going on?
We've got incoming. Be prepared to beam us out on my call.
Understood. And I'll comes down to I would have filled in Zohar about possibly giving more power to the transporters to get them out previously, but it comes down to the transporter room to get them ready for immediate transporters.
Standing by.
All right, and after a few more moments, you hear a commotion outside the door, and the door opens with a small explosive device, and outside are 4 Romulans with weapons drawn. And at this point, you guys will get to act.
Now, Zoha.
All right. So if I got the difficulty correct, it would be 3 because they're not on a transporter pad, but we have advanced sensors, so that goes back down to 2. Any threat being spent on this?
There is not.
Momentum.
Okay. Yeah, I will give you 1 momentum for a 3rd die.
Nice.
Yep.
So we get 3 momentum. And because of the orders that were given, I also beam up the senator.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment I see them materialize in the pad, I tap my comm badge and say, "Go now, Pend. We have them."
And I'm immediately going to maximum.
Hold that thought. Mr. Pend, this is what you receive from sensors. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be the end of Faction.